True stories from the edge of madness. Blind teenager with a psychotic break. The patient was a kind, nearly blind teenager experiencing his first psychotic break. Despite his blindness, he was highly skilled in Taekwondo, accidentally shattering a bulletproof window in a lounge with a powerful kick. During a training session, he nearly struck a psychologist with a kick that grazed past their face, leaving a gust of air. The boy panicked, fearing he might seriously hurt someone, but later unexpectedly invited the psychologist to train together. His sincerity and fear of his own strength contrasted sharply with the danger he posed during psychosis. Patient in the psychiatric ward. A medical student encountered a crisis in the emergency psychiatric unit. A patient with foaming saliva and suspicious dark red stains on his clothes threatened, "The devil told me to kill you and then myself." The door was behind him, so the student, fearing provocation, spent half an hour with him until he fell asleep. She quietly fled, recalling the rule, never let a patient stand between you and the door. The smell in the room, the patient's bloodshot eyes, and his erratic state heightened the tension. Aggressive patient in a youth facility. A psychologist worked with a violent teenager who once tried to strangle her and attack her with a curtain rod. Despite this, they otherwise shared trusting moments. Staff kept him under constant supervision, but he still attempted assaults. Afterward, he apologized sincerely, creating dissonance between his aggression and capacity for empathy. His story highlights the complexity of working with patients who oscillate between violence and genuine desire to change. Client with compulsive behavior. A psychology student faced a client who discussed masturbation during sessions and suggested watching porn together. Later, he began touching himself through his clothes, violating professional boundaries. Her supervisor removed him from her caseload, deeming it unsuitable for training. This situation illustrates how patient misconduct can jeopardize therapy safety and efficacy. Pedophile in rehabilitation. A man convicted of raping his stepdaughters aged 6 to 7 claimed he was attracted not to the children but to dominance and power. He openly described crimes, including using a 13-year-old stepsister as a distraction to abuse her younger sister. His remorse seemed sincere, but the psychologist doubted him, aware of his manipulative tendencies. The story raises questions about the nature of pedophilia and rehabilitation possibilities. Producer of child pornography. A patient convicted of distributing child pornography displayed insincere remorse. His apologies felt cynical and his excuses were unconvincing. Unlike the previous case, his manipulation was obvious, as confirmed by a professor who warned about common tactics of such offenders. This story underscores the difference between genuine remorse and calculated pretense. Ex-partner with hallucinations. A man experiencing hallucinations from medication once boiled water to stick his hand in on Voice's advice. Later, he overdosed on pills, requiring a stomach pump and vomiting blood. His denial of danger, despite risks, terrified his family. The story reveals the unpredictability of medication side effects. Criminal kingpin in prison. A psychologist evaluated a gang leader implicated in torture and murder. The inmate cynically described crimes, claiming he managed operations from prison. The psychologist recommended denying parole, fearing retaliation, but the inmate later became an active participant in therapy. His ability to manipulate systems challenged initial assumptions about his psychopathy. Schizophrenic MMA fighter. A psychiatric hospital guard described a towering patient, 6 feet 6 inches, former MMA fighter. During psychosis, he roamed naked, threatened staff, and escaped. Once, encountering him in a bar post-shift, the guard felt fear, but the patient merely struggled to recall where they'd met. The story highlights how even aggressive patients can display unexpected vulnerability during remission. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.